Welcome back, guys. Brand new video series. We're doing the JKB 100. I'm welcoming you guys in here. If you guys have never seen my previous videos, welcome to the channel. If you guys have never seen my previous DTR 100 articles on downtownrams.com, I basically take the NFL top 100 and it's my 100. I'm ranking the 100 players in the NFL. Instead of putting it all in one video and making it an hour-long video, decided to break it up. Before we get into it, be sure to subscribe, hit the like if you like the video, and drop a comment. Let's discuss. There'll be a lot of discussion here, I'd imagine. We're talking about the 100 players in the NFL. Can't get more controversial than that, right? I'll mention the honorable mentions at the end of this series, but for now, we'll get into it. Number 100, it is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers edge defender Shaq Barrett, coming in at 100. Look, last year was not the best year for Shaq Barrett. He did win a Super Bowl. Gotta love that. But he did drop off statistically. 19.5 sacks the year prior. Was looking like maybe the best pass rusher in football, aside from maybe Donald. But unfortunately for him, he did have a down year in 2020. Didn't quite get paid out as much as he could have. And I think part of that was because he wanted to stay with the Bucs, so he took less. He's turning 29 in November. He's not somebody necessarily that I'm looking at and thinking he's going to get a lot better moving forward. I do think he kind of peaked with the 19.5 sacks. Can he get back to that point? Potentially, but that was a hell of a season. He didn't replicate that last year. Fell off a little bit. That's why he lands at, right on the borderline at number 100. Great player. I love watching him play. Loved him with the Broncos. Wanted my Rams to get him. That never came to fruition. Good on the Buccaneers, though, for picking him up for a $5 million deal. That worked out very well. Number 99, we have future Hall of Famer Ben Roethlisberger of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I've been pretty adamant in saying that I not only think Big Ben is still a good quarterback and still has plenty left in the tank, but I think he's underrated all time. When you look at Big Ben and what he brings to the table, if he didn't come from this generation of quarterbacks, having the Peyton Manning and the Tom Brady and the Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, what have you, I mean, he would have been the best in the 70s or 80s. I mean, arguably. He's got, incredible talent. And the thing with him is he had to adapt as time went on. He didn't have the mobility to move around the pocket. He doesn't even need that. He has the strength. It's amazing the core strength he has to stay up in the pocket while he's being ripped down, and he's just done an incredible job. While he's had talent, you can't deny that he's also made guys better around him. You look at Deontay Johnson last year. You look at Juju Smith-Schuster. Of course, Chase Claypool in the past. You could talk about Emmanuel Sanders and just all sorts of guys. Santonio Holmes. The list goes on, right? Martavis Bryant, Antonio Brown, although Brown's still pretty good, but that's besides the point. Anyway, still has plenty left in the tank. He comes in at number 99. He came back after missing almost all of 2019, and he threw 33 touchdowns and had a 94.1 passer rating. For whatever reason, though, I mean, I understand why he didn't win Comeback Player of the Year because, of course, Alex Smith came back. But I think that kind of overshadows what Ben Roethlisberger truly did. I don't think he's gotten credit for that. He had one of the worst running games in NFL history last year, was still able to have a really good season by that standard. And then on top of that, he threw over 500 yards in the playoffs against the Browns. I understand he had some interceptions. I would argue half of them were not his fault. But the fact of the matter is this. He threw 500 yards in his last game that he played in. He's not retiring. Like, there are people that said that, like, he's completely off, like, he's done, it's over. I can't subscribe to that notion, and I've never been able to subscribe to the notion that he's overrated. I just don't get that. He's underrated, if anything. He turned 39 in March, so he's not quite 40 yet. I think he plays until maybe 41 or 40. But I still think he has plenty left in the tank. The biggest question mark is the offensive line. Of course, you don't have David DeCastro. That's a recent development. You did add Trey Turner, but he's an average to slightly above average guard. He's not, a Pro Bowl potential, Hall of Fame candidate down the road in David DeCastro. And on top of that, you miss out on Pouncey at center. So now it's going to be played by a rookie, a guy that I like a lot, albeit, but a rookie in Kendrick Green. So there's some question marks here. I still think the offensive line is going to be really good. But again, there are some question marks. Ben Roethlisberger, I think, will be fine. And he's going to have Najee Harris. So that's going to be a lot of fun. He comes in at 99. Number 98 coming into 2021, I have Brandin Cooks. Look, I understand a lot of Rams fans watching this are probably rolling their eyes. They do not like Brandin Cooks. He dropped 2 passes in the Super Bowl. And while I understand that, I think both are arguable. First off, he had his hand held or his arm held down by Stephon Gilmore in the end zone. That wasn't called. And then, of course, Jared Goff took forever to throw the ball and, was able to have the guy track him down and make a play on the football. So, yeah, I think those are a little debatable. I understand, you got to catch it, whatnot. He's also 5'10". Either way, underappreciated. 5 1,000-yard seasons, 4 with different teams. So I think he's done an incredible job. Really consistent. 40 career touchdowns and nearly over 7,000 yards. And he turns 28 in September. So, this is somebody, no matter where he goes, whether it's with Houston, whether it's with LA, New England, the Saints, he has been able to produce. That is something that is important there. And he's coming off a great season last year, guys. Don't sell him short. 81 catches, 1,150 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Brandin Cooks, to me, is a guy that you still have to keep in mind. He's still with Houston. I think he could be a trade deadline candidate mid-season for a team like, say, maybe the Packers if they want to add some more juice to the receiver room. I think that'd be a great fit for him. But yeah, Brandin Cooks comes in at 98. I know there'll be people that have an issue with it, but he's been a model of consistency. And this whole injury-prone nonsense, yeah, he had a few concussions, but he hasn't missed a ton of games. And that is kind of the common misconception when we call somebody injury-prone. We just assume that they miss a lot of games. He has not missed a lot of games. Moving on, we have number 97 here. It is Najee Harris. And look, I don't even like putting rookies on here. I think it's a little ridiculous at times, but Najee Harris is a ridiculous rookie. He's somebody that's coming in and is probably going to be the culture changer. He's probably going to be the face of the Steelers offense, if you want my honest opinion. I think he's already a top 12 running back in football. And, when you look at his Alabama career, it's nuts. I mean, he had, 51 games played, 638 carries, 3,843 yards, 6 yards per carry average in the SEC, 46 rushing touchdowns, including 11 receiving touchdowns. You obviously see the ability. He's a game-changing back. He was worth the 24th overall pick. And on top of that, he's the only rookie. I will tell you this right now. I'm spoiling the list. He's the only rookie that has made this list. Jamar Chase did not. You guys know I love Jalen Waddle. He did not. Not even Penei Sewell, who I found is a generational prospect. He didn't even make this list, okay? So I have, because I think Najee Harris is going to be 100% the easiest, cat in the bag. I mean, it's going to be the easiest rookie of the year, offensive rookie of the year award ever. And I still feel like somebody like Trevor Lawrence will win it. But it's so obvious I think Najee Harris is going to be clearly the best offensive rookie this year. He turned 23 in March, so he's a little bit older than some of the other guys. He comes in at 97. 96 here. We have Courtland Sutton from the Denver Broncos. If you forgot about him, I understand. He, was out for the year last year for the most part. He's turning 26 in October. He's 6'4", 216 pounds out of SMU. Guy I really liked in the draft. The thing I love about Courtland Sutton is that big body, but when you have the big body, we've talked about it so many times. Oh, he's 6 foot this or 6 foot that, but he can't use his body. Courtland Sutton knows how to box out defenders like he's getting a rebound in the NBA. He is very seasoned in that aspect. He has nearly 2,000 yards, 10 touchdowns in his first 2 seasons, missed 2020. He had a season-ending injury right out of the gate. In my opinion, this year is going to be a huge year for him. He's going to help out Jerry Jeudy because he's going to command double teams. I think this is somebody that can win against double teams. On top of that, whether it is Bridgewater or Locke, he's a great wide receiver, but he might get a chance to be with Aaron Rodgers if things don't go, if they go south in Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers goes to Denver. Courtland Sutton's going to be one of the best receivers in football this year. So he makes the list at 96. 95, we have Joe Burrow from the Cincinnati Bengals, 2020 first-round pick, a first overall pick. You have, you know, the season-ending injury. He's turning 25 in December. His first 10 games, he looked very good. He tore his ACL, unfortunately, but he had 2,688 passing yards, 13 touchdowns, and added 3 rushing touchdowns. He showed his ability as a dual-threat quarterback, and on top of that, he developed a very nice rapport between T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd. But now, here's the crazy thing. He turned down getting an offensive tackle. I don't know how much push he had or how much leeway they gave him, but it is out there. Reports are out there that he wanted them to go after Jamar Chase, his college teammate at LSU, over getting an offensive tackle. Whether that was the right deal, the right move, remains to be seen. But you can't deny having a room with Chase, Boyd, and Higgins is not going to benefit Joe Burrow in the big way. So I think he's going to be in for a really good season. He comes in at 95 heading into the 2021 season. Moving on, we have 94 running back Josh Jacobs, and he is the running back for the Raiders. They added Kenyon Drake, but this guy I don't think loses any value moving forward. They used guys like Jalen Richard a lot, to be honest with you, and Kenyon Drake's a lot better than Jalen Richard, so I think he'll get that. He'll just slide in there and get those opportunities. What can you say about Josh Jacobs? 24 years old, back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, 19 rushing touchdowns, 53 receptions for 404 yards, and he's missed 4 games, but like that's a really, really good stat line. And he's a consistent guy. He's been huge for Derek Carr. He's been huge for the Raiders offense that for whatever reason they haven't been able to figure out how to use Henry Ruggs III. But I think he's also going to be in a really good year this year. Whether they use Kenyon Drake a ton or not, Josh Jacobs, you can't deny the talent. And so that's why I have him at number 94. 93, we have Matt Ryan from the Atlanta Falcons. He's got plenty left in the tank, despite what people are saying. He just turned 36. He didn't turn 86. He lost Julio Jones. Yeah, that sucks, right? But he still has Calvin Ridley, a guy who's, toyed around going to 1,500 to 1,600 yards in a season. He's got Russell Gage, an underrated receiver that kind of got left out of the mix and people don't talk about enough. He's going to be a 1,000-yard receiver this year. They got Kyle Pitts, who's a close to generational tight end. And then they have Hayden Hurst, among others. They have better offensive line protection. They went out and they got Drew Dahlman in the draft. They have guys moving up in another year, developing. You have Hennessy. You have Lindstrom. I really do like how they did this. Caleb McGarry is another guy. And then they have the big Jake Matthews. He is the veteran there. They have him at left tackle. So they, improved around Matt Ryan. I think he's going to be healthy this year because I think they're going to keep him clean. But regardless, last year, I don't really understand the knock on him. 26 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 4,581 yards last year. I don't really see the big deal with Matt Ryan. I don't see why people had him falling off a cliff and whatnot. He is still Matt Ryan. Moving on, 92. Rams fans, here's your first one. Cam Akers, running back, Los Angeles Rams. He's in for a huge season, guys. He's going to be the lead back in all likelihood for the Rams. You'll have Darrell Henderson, obviously in there, and then maybe even Xavier Jones sprinkled in, maybe a Tutu Atwell out of the backfield. But the fact of the matter is that Cam Akers, this is his backfield, and they're very high on him. Offensive line is above average in my opinion. Could be better. We'll see. Going to be used more in the passing game. Sean McVay has made that very well known that they want to use Akers more in the passing game. This is the same Sean McVay that had, Todd Gurley using him like Marshall Faulk in 2017 and 18. So we'll definitely see that. He just turned 22, so plenty left in the tank. And on top of that, he ran for 221 yards and 2 touchdowns in the postseason last season. And after going through some injuries and just, the high ankle sprain and the cartilage injury, the rib cartilage that he suffered in the Eagles game to start off the year, he really needed to have the postseason he did with Darrell Henderson on the shelf. And he gave the Rams an opportunity with that running game, the renewed running game, and he really took over. So having 171 yards against the Patriots, having over 100 yards in Seattle in the first playoff game he's ever played, then having over 80-something yards against the Packers, it's not hard to see why this team is high on Cam Akers. Moving on, lastly part of this video, because it's 100 to 91, we're going to stop here but it's going to be Jonathan Taylor. He's a phenomenal running back from the Indianapolis Colts. He was my #1 running back. Cam Akers was #2 on my board after the fact. He turned 22 in January, so he's a little bit older than Cam Akers by a smidge. He ran for 1,169 yards, 11 touchdowns in his rookie season. He has a very good offensive line that has guys like Braden Smith and Quentin Nelson and Ryan Kelly. It's a very, very good offensive line. But when you look, he's averaging 5 yards per carry coming into this season. Nuts. Efficient runner. But on top of this, don't sleep on his elite athleticism. You know, he ran a 4.3 40-yard time. He is a fast guy. And on top of that, he's still somewhat underrated. I don't understand it. I mean, Nyheim Hines didn't make this list. He's also very underrated. But the fact of the matter is that Jonathan Taylor is a star, and it's time for people to realize that. But that's going to do it for me in this video. Again, we'll go through it real quick. I had Shaq Barrett at 100. I had Big Ben Roethlisberger at 99. Brandon Cooks at 98. Najee Harris at 97. Courtland Sutton at 96. I had Joe Burrow, the #1 overall pick last year, 95. Josh Jacobs at 94. Matt Ryan at 93. Cam Akers at 92. And wrapping it up with Jonathan Taylor at 91. I will bring you guys the next portion of this. It's going to be a series, so I'm going to just slowly release these as we go. And I'm excited to do so. But before I go, be sure to subscribe if you enjoyed this and don't already subscribe. Be sure to like and comment. Let's discuss. What are your thoughts? Did I miss out on anybody? I mean, it's hard to tell if I missed out on anybody because there's a lot, left to go. Is there anybody that I mentioned that you don't think belongs on this list? Let me know below. Until next time, you guys take care. Have a great weekend. Later.